for taking our course today. My name is Elisa Cool and I am founder of The Narrative, a content shop that creates awesome content, but also prides ourselves on helping our customers own their stories and learn how to do so. Today, we're gonna learn how to create content or stories that sell. This course today is about selling through content marketing or creating content marketing that actually impacts that bottom line and brings in sales. We're going to talk about a few things. One, why storytelling is so important to sales. And then we're going to teach you how to sell through stories. And a few things we're going to cover there are how to make your client a hero and make your prospect a potential hero, free distribution channels, making it easy for sales by editing yourself, and making it easy for prospects. Marketing has always backed the sales team in one capacity or another, and it should be no different for content marketing. Today, it is absolutely critical that your content not only supports, but purposely enables your sales team. And that's not just collateral, it's also getting them educated and in the habit of sharing stories that sell. Traditional sales folks once knew that getting someone to buy often meant spinning a good yarn. And that craft has largely become a lost art. Well, why does it matter? Why is selling through stories so important? Well, here's a good story about a fictitious boot salesman to help drive that point home. Once upon a time, there was a salesman who sold boots. He prepped. He knew his audience and how to relate to them well, but as importantly, he knew his product backwards and forwards. In fact, he knew it so well that he could paint a picture of a world without boots. He would then share why the production of his particular brand of boots was so important, how it was invented, how it was perfected, and how challenging it was to invent, perfect, and create. He would end on a grand vision of a world made so much better by his particular brand of boots that the customers had no choice but to buy from him. In traditional selling, a boot wasn't Gore-Tex line, and a car did not have a million horses under the hood. It wasn't just a performance vehicle or something that offered 3,200 cup holders. It was an escape capsule that was impenetrable from the noise and distractions of the world. Take, for example, this ad from Ogilvy and Mather in 1959 for Rolls-Royce. Notice the headline and how it paints that picture without having to dive into specs. Think that content or listicles haven't existed for over 50 years? Well, here's proof that content marketing and the dreaded listicle have been around for longer than many of us. But that's good for sexy cars, Elisa. Maybe boots, you're talking B2C. How does that matter for me if I'm a B2B content marketer or marketer? Well, B2B companies also use stories to tell. Xerox reps would walk into a potential customer's office, take, story goes, an important document, crumple it up, uncrumple it while the customer is still gasping, run it through the Xerox machine, and demonstrate that the photocopier can not only make duplicates, but that it could literally resurrect important documents. What's less sexy than a photocopier? I mean, they had to put this good-looking woman up in front just to get people to turn and look at the page. Maybe email or electronic mail, as it was called back in the day for those of you under 30. Well, the reps over at Honeywell had the challenge of not only explaining to people what email was to begin with, or what a terminal, aka computer, was, or how they connected, but also the value of moving from what was comfortable being memos and traditional mail into this electronic mail. And it wasn't cheap. So demonstrating this value was especially hard, and they too used stories to share that value. Great salespeople sold with stories across B2B and B2C. They supported their stories with select facts necessary to back their claims, but facts are table stakes. Stories and selecting the right stories is what's critical. Making the story into something that the buyer can identify, relate to, and remember is what really does all of the heavy lifting. Unfortunately, over time, that art of selling through stories has depreciated radically. We have replaced seasoned story sellers with 22-year-olds. And the bad news is marketing has played a strong role in this. We put content behind something that we call gates. Who likes gates? Just about no one. And worse yet, once you go through that gate, you have to fill out a form to get to the meat of the stuff that we want to share with people. Often we leverage the sales team to get people to these gates and forms to begin with. And as a rule of thumb, most forms average about 3 questions before you can get to that content, which means people literally have to approach a gate and answer questions 3 to get to our content. How does that not make us trolls? Do you like forms? Do you like gates? No. So what's on the other side has to be really valuable, and the layup that sales presents has to convince people that it's valuable to begin with. This means that marketing's role has to change. We can no longer just support sales by creating stuff and hoping that they get people there. These kids need us to have their backs and not just provide them with the good stories, but often provide them with the good layups. Give them stuff to say, give them stories to tell to make their jobs a little bit easier. If we do, they too can learn the art of selling through stories and be successful salesmen and women. Now, again, we are going to cover in these lessons how to sell through stories, and specifically how to make your client a hero, make your prospect a potential hero, free distribution channels, making it easy for sales by editing your facts, and making it easy for prospects. We hope you'll join us.